Everyone in Staten Island has heard the name Cropsey. Some say he was just a story meant to scare kids away from wandering too deep into the woods near Willowbrook. Others say he was real, a man who once worked at the Willowbrook State School before it was shut down, and who never left. I never believed any of it growing up. It was just another ghost story parents whispered at sleepovers, or something the older kids would taunt you with when you biked too close to the rusting fences near the old school. But that changed last summer. I was staying with my cousin Anthony for a few weeks while my parents were in Europe. He lived close to Staten Island's Greenbelt, not far from the ruins of Willowbrook. One night, we were hanging out with his friends Jason and Carla. We'd lit a small fire in his backyard and were passing around stories. Creepy ones, true ones, stupid ones. The conversation drifted, as it always does when you live nearby, to Cropsey. Carla swore she'd seen someone watching her from the trees on the edge of the Greenbelt one evening. Tall, ragged, unmoving. She described the figure as wearing something like an old hospital gown. We laughed it off, said it was probably just a drunk or someone messing around, but her face didn't crack. She wasn't joking. Jason pulled out his phone and said there was a way to actually find what was left of the Willowbrook tunnels, the ones supposedly sealed off years ago. He had an old map, some urban explorer forums, even a few pins on Google Earth. It sounded ridiculous, but also like the perfect late-night mission. Around 11:30 p.m., we packed flashlights, water, a cheap crowbar, and headed into the woods. We followed an overgrown service path near Arthur Kill Road. The forest was unnaturally quiet. Even the insects felt muted. After about 40 minutes of trekking deeper in, we found it. A cracked concrete foundation, half swallowed by vines. It had once been a service shed, now mostly collapsed, but behind it, hidden behind a slab of rotting plywood, was an opening, a black yawning hole, about 5 feet tall and just wide enough to crouch through. Jason went first, then Carla, then Anthony. I hesitated. I can't explain it, but I had this moment, this overwhelming instinct that told me not to follow them in. I stared at that entrance and felt like something on the other side was aware of us, but I didn't want to be the coward, so I ducked and stepped into the dark. The air changed the second we entered, thick, damp, heavy with rot and something else I couldn't place, like old metal and mold. The flashlight beams danced across rusted pipes, crumbling brick graffiti-covered walls. The tunnel was tight and winding, like a service crawl space. Jason said it connected to a larger corridor deeper in, part of the old Willowbrook infrastructure. Most of it had been sealed when the school closed in the 80s, but the urban explorer thread said parts still remained. We were in there for maybe 20 minutes when we found the room. It was behind a rusted metal door hanging half off its hinges. The walls were covered in peeling green paint, and in the center sat an old hospital bed. The mattress was gone. Chains hung from either side. The floor had scratches, long, jagged ones, as if someone had been dragged or had tried to crawl away. Anthony made a joke about it being Cropsey's bedroom. We all laughed, but it came out hollow. Jason snapped a few photos. Carla stood by the door, nervously flicking her flashlight on and off. Then we heard it, a dragging sound, far down the tunnel behind us, like something heavy being pulled along the concrete. We froze. It stopped. Jason whispered that it was probably an animal, maybe a raccoon, maybe a possum, but we knew it wasn't. The sound was too deliberate, too steady. Anthony whispered, "We should leave." That's when the dragging started again, closer this time. Jason stepped out into the hall to shine his flashlight. The beam caught the curve of the tunnel, then landed on nothing. No eyes reflecting, no movement, just a low, almost inaudible breath echoing off the walls. Then, something ran, fast, heavy, toward us. We all screamed and bolted. Carla dropped her flashlight. I grabbed her arm, pulling her into the hall as we sprinted back the way we came. The tunnels didn't feel the same on the way out. We were running blind, heartbeats pounding in our throats. The dragging sound echoed. Behind us, now interspersed with grunts, coughs, wet, choking sounds. I swear to God I heard something say Anthony's name, not shout it, whisper it, like it had learned it from listening to us. The tunnel forked, and Jason took a turn we didn't recognize. We followed without thinking. Dead end. We spun around. The tunnel behind us was empty, no sound. Carla started sobbing. Jason cursed, kicking the wall. I tried calling Anthony, but we had no signal. Then the flashlight flickered and died. Everything went black. I don't know how long we were stuck in that darkness. Seconds? Minutes? But I swear I could hear something breathing just inches from me. Close enough I could feel the air shift when it exhaled. Then a different light appeared, faint, yellowish, like an old bulb. It blinked once, twice, then held. We didn't wait. We ran toward it. The hallway opened into what looked like an old utility room. Crates, hoses, rusted equipment, but the light was real, coming from a broken fixture still hanging from the ceiling. And in the corner, almost invisible beneath debris, was a ladder. It led up to a grate. Jason went first, then Carla. I helped Anthony up, then climbed after. We burst out into the woods behind a fence on the far side of the ruins. No one said a word until we were back at the house. We never found the entrance again, not even when we returned the next day. The shed was gone, the hole buried, no trace of the room, or the tunnels, or the bed. We tried reporting it online, posting in the same urban explorer groups, but our posts got deleted. The mods claimed inaccurate information, or location hoaxes. Jason's photos were corrupted, every single one, but Carla had one she never posted. It's blurry, caught while she was holding her phone near her chest as we ran, but you can make out a figure in the background, tall, head shaved, wearing something that looks like a hospital gown, and his mouth open, wide, too wide, like it had never closed. We don't go near the Greenbelt anymore, and if you ever hear dragging footsteps in the woods near Staten Island, run.